Okay, so this is my 6th video on how to make a knife, and this is the knife. And if you've been following my series closely, you might be saying to yourself, that's not the same knife, and you would be correct. The old knife I had been working on got put in a box of throwaway items, and I lost it and couldn't get it back, so I had to start with a new file and start the whole knife making process over again. And so this knife is at the same point the last one was, or roughly around the same point. The last one was right after I heat treated the blade and got it out of the oven, and this one is slightly ahead of that. I already sanded it down, and with a 500 grit metal sandpaper like this, and then that's what this side is, and then on the other side I just did it with the same sandpaper I showed you, and then just over that is a 1200 grit mirror finish sandpaper. So that's where that side's on. But this side I'm going to be showing you how to get it to look like this, and then ultimately a really shine, like mirror finish. And then after I do that, I have to stick on the handle, shape it, and then the knife will basically be done. So this is what the blade looks like at this point in the process. And as you can see, it has a lot of scratches on it, all the way up and down the blade. And so I got some 600 grit, and also got some 1500 grit sandpaper. This is the 600, as you can see, and this is the 1500. Okay, so these are very fine sandpapers, and the goal is to get a sandpaper that's heavy enough to sand down the metal, but light enough to where it won't add any more scratches. So the 500 will get the deeper scratches off, and I mean the scratches are really very fine right now, but you want to get all the little scratches off, and then the 1500 will get the very small scratches from the 500 grit off, and then you'll be ready to buff out the blade with different compounds on a buffing wheel like this. Okay, this is before the 500 grit sandpaper. Okay, so this is after the 600 grit sandpaper. So, yep, so as you can see, it's a lot shinier, and the scratch level is it's like the scratches are really small now. Let's see if I can focus in. Yeah, see, you can see the scratches are very small and actually very hard to see. So now I'm going to go over it with 1500 grit, and you'll see a real difference after that. Okay, so this is after the 1500 grit, and as you can see, there's a huge difference back here and all throughout the blade. So basically, this is the end product where there's no scratches at all, none at all throughout the blade. And then you go to the buffer, and then you'll see a very shiny blade. Okay, so I'm going to set up my buffer and show you the setup after. Okay, so these are the two compounds I'm going to be using. This is the heavier grit compound, and this is the lighter grit compound. You can just get these polishing compounds at any place, basically any place that sells hardware or anything like that. I get mine at swap meets because you can get a whole package of them for like $5 or barter the guy down for cheaper. But yeah, so that's where I get my materials. So I like to use 2 different compounds. They have like 5 in the pack, but you basically only need 2. You can get by with 2. So now I'm just gonna buff the blade and show you what it looks like after. Okay, so this is the blade now, and as you can see, it is very shiny. That's the little file markings. And this is the other side. And that's just the pattern of the ceiling that you're seeing on the blade. I like it out here so you can really see the reflectant parts of the knife, but that's, if I can get a spot where it's not as reflectant, there you go. That's the blade. So it is very shiny. Okay, so I'm ready to start my handle, and these are all my handle making materials. I have all different types of small copper, all this stuff, but I have a lot of very hard woods like this teak, and I have ebony, black and white ebony or zebra wood. And I'm going to show you the materials I picked out for the handle on my knife. And I wrapped my knife in tape so it wouldn't get cut, so it wouldn't get scratched. And the back is more wrapped up in the front because that's the part that goes in the vise. So this is my assortment of materials that's going to be in the handle, and that's the right order. I got the black and white ebony, the redwood, copper, blue spacing material, leather, brass. So that's basically what it is, and I'm going to start stacking my handle, and I'll show you I'll make a video and fast forward it of me stacking, and then after that I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the stacked handle looks like now. I jumped up a little bit, forgot to record it, but I ground the handle down, the edges down a little bit. So that's what it looks like now. Still very rough, as you can see. But now I'm going to grind it down to more of like a nicer circle, and then I'm going to get the sides a lot thinner. And then I'll be recording that, and I'll show you what it looks like after I grind it down a little bit. Okay, so this is the knife right now, and as you can see, it's looking still pretty rough, but you can still see but now you can see where the layers are. So now I'm going to go over it with my sanding belt, and after that it'll look a lot smoother. Okay, so this is the handle right now, and now I'm going to go over to the base right down here with my Dremel and make it fit in the circle, fit the finger in there, and I'll show you what that looks like after I'm done with that portion. Okay, so right now I'm going to shape the back a little bit and get the little goat horn piece at the end to cut down at a slight angle, and then I'll show you what it looks like after that. Okay, so that's what the knife looks like now. As you can see, the back is at a slight angle. The finger part is in there. This is coming up at a slight angle and then dipping down real quick. And now all I have to do is just shape out, as you can see I have a line, just shape out that part in the middle where the fingers go. And then this handle will be close to being done. So that's after some rough grinding, and the handle's looking pretty good. I might do a couple little touch-up things to it, but as of right now, I'm liking the look of it. So I'm going to sand it down, maybe make some sharper lines in here with my Dremel. But other than that, I think it's looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to be going over the handle back and forth, just sanding it back and forth. And I'm not going to record that because it's just basic sanding, so then after that I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so the handle's done. The knife looks good. As you can see, the handle looks very nice. And then I just have to put a drop of mineral oil on it, and it'll be complete. Now just rub it in. Now the knife handle's done. Okay, so this concludes my start to finish knife video. This ended up to be a very nice blade and a very nice knife altogether. There were some struggles along the way. I mean, whole lost blade and had to start over from new. That's a pretty big jump, but I got it done, and I hope you guys learned a lot from my videos. If you have any things that I should have added, you can comment and send me messages saying what you'd like to see in some future videos. But this knife is I'm actually selling this knife, and I hope the owner is happy with it as I am. It's a very beautiful knife, and I hope you enjoyed the series.